Hey guys, welcome back to Chef Development, and today in One Pan Wonders we're making beetroot risotto. If there's anything that epitomizes a one pan wonder, it's the risotto. Now this one not only going to be rich and creamy, but it's also going to have that intense sweet earthy flavour that only beetroot can pull off. This isn't going to be a quick recipe, you're going to have to invest some time in this one. But I promise you, at the end of it, it's going to be well worth it. Let's get down to business. Alright, so for this risotto, the first thing we need to do is get all of our ingredients together. There's a fair amount of stuff that we need to chop and prepare, so it's better to organise ourselves and get everything that we need all in one place. So for this risotto, we're going to need 3 beetroot, 500ml of chicken stock, but you can use vegetable stock if you want, 500ml of beetroot juice, a little bit of olive oil, 25 grams of butter, 1 red onion, 1 large carrot, 1 stick of celery, 2 garlic cloves, 100 grams of risotto rice, we'll talk more about this in a sec, 1 tablespoon of tomato puree, a little bit of white wine, a little bit of parmesan, and some mascarpone. I'll leave a full list of the ingredients in the description down below. Now here in the UK, the most commonly used rice for risotto is arborio, but personally, I like to use carnaroli. Carnaroli rice has a higher starch content and firmer texture than arborio, which results in a creamier risotto that's much more difficult to overcook. The grains are also slightly longer and keep their shape better when stirred. All of this makes for a risotto that's much more forgiving. While arborio can go from al dente to mushy and unpleasant in a matter of seconds, carnaroli holds onto that perfect chew even if you stir it a few too many times past its doneness, which is perfect if you're making risotto for the first time. Right, that's enough about rice choices, let's get down to making this risotto. So the first thing we need to do is peel and cut our beetroot. Alright, we're going to dice it down into 1cm cubes. Now, I tried to be clever here and I used a little piece of greaseproof paper underneath my beetroot while I was peeling it and while I was chopping it. Now I thought this would actually help with preventing me getting loads of colour on my board. I can tell you now, not to waste your time. Just chop it directly onto the board. You're going to spend more time worrying about whether you're getting little bits of paper in your beetroot, which I didn't, but it took me a long time to make sure that didn't happen. As you can see, the board is still stained with beetroot, so it was well worth it. You may also want to think about wearing some gloves when you're peeling and chopping your beetroot, otherwise you're going to have red hands just like this. So for this recipe, I'm going to be using a wide base non-stick frying pan. I find this is perfect for risottos. It gives you a wide surface area, so you get a really nice thin layer of that risotto rice, so everything cooks nice and evenly. There's no risk of undercooked bits of rice on the top and overcooked bits of rice on the bottom. So I'm going to use this pan for the whole recipe. So place the diced beetroot into the pan with the chicken stock and the beetroot juice, then put the pan over a high heat, bring to the boil, and then once it's up to the boil you can turn it down to a gentle simmer and cook for about 20 to 25 minutes or until the diced beetroot is nice and tender. While that beetroot's cooking, now is the perfect time to prepare your vegetables for the risotto. Finally dice your red onion, your carrot and your celery, and then you can peel and crush your garlic as well. You can use a garlic press, but I like to use a microplane. I find it gives me a much smoother garlic puree to go into my risotto. Drain the beetroot through a sieve and put to one side. Make sure you reserve the cooking liquor because we're going to use that for the risotto later on. So into the same pan, heat a good splash of olive oil and the butter over a medium heat. Once the butter's foaming, then you can add your finely diced onion, carrot, celery and crushed garlic. Then give this a good stir over a medium heat for about 5 minutes until the vegetables are nice and soft. Just be careful not to brown them. This is called the soffritto stage. Now, every amazing risotto has an amazing soffritto, so take your time cooking these vegetables. Once the vegetables are soft, add the rice to the pan and cook for a further 2 minutes or so to toast off the rice. This is called the tostatura. Now this comes from the verb meaning to toast in Italian, and this refers to the rice. So you really want to get those rice grains toasted off, covered in that oil, just until they start to go a little bit see-through. It's really important to get this stage. It helps keep your rice grains nice and separated throughout the risotto cooking. Once the rice has been toasted, now it's time to turn down the heat and add that tomato puree and cook that out gently for a couple of minutes. Quite a high sugar content in the tomato puree, so you don't want it to catch and burn, so make sure you turn that heat down. Add the white wine to the rice mixture and reduce the wine right down over a high heat until it's completely evaporated. You'll know the wine has been boiled away completely when you pull your spoon or spatula through the rice and it holds the line. Once all the wine's evaporated, now it's time to start adding your reserved liquor to the risotto. Gradually add the preserved beetroot stock to the risotto a ladleful at a time, stirring constantly over a medium heat. Don't add another ladleful until the stock has been almost completely absorbed by the rice. Continue this process of adding the stock a bit at a time and cooking it until it's been absorbed, until the rice is just cooked. The whole process of cooking the risotto shouldn't take much more than 15 minutes, give or take. The risotto rice should just have a bite. It shouldn't be chalky or gritty. Remember, it's a bite, not a crunch. Now the trick is to make sure your risotto isn't too thick or too loose. The best way it's been described to me is when you drag your spatula or spoon through it, it should fill in like it's a wave hitting the shore. L'onda, they say in Italian. I might be pronouncing it a little bit incorrectly, but that's what I've been told. A wave hitting the shore, that's what you're looking for. Just like this as we drag the spatula through the risotto. But everyone's got an opinion, so if you like yours a little bit thicker, you like it a little bit looser, go for it. Now my terrible Italian pronunciation isn't over yet. We've still got one more stage, and that is the mantecatura. This is where we start adding the fat at the end of the risotto to get that really sort of creamy effect that we've been looking for. So into the risotto we're going to add some mascarpone and some freshly grated parmesan. Beat the mascarpone and the parmesan into the risotto until everything is nice and rich and creamy. Stir in the cooked diced beetroot, then taste, adjust the seasoning and add salt and pepper as necessary. You can also add a little bit of red wine vinegar if you want, just to sharpen it up. Now it's time to spoon that risotto into the dishes, finish with a little bit of sour cream and some freshly chopped dill, and you're ready to serve. So 1 pan beetroot risotto, a little bit of sour cream, a little bit of dill on top, and that's it. You get those sort of borscht style flavours coming through. It's just fantastic. It's a little bit labour intensive. You've got those sort of 20 minutes almost of just stirring the risotto as you're adding the stock, but the end result is well worth it. So if you like this recipe, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new around here and you haven't done so already, why not hit that subscribe button for more recipes and more 1 pan wonders in the future. I'm going to carry on eating this. I'll see you next time.